Hello and welcome. I am Banu Cetin, a BG5 teacher and consultant and co-founder of Alignment Key and the Path Key platform that enables BG5 consultants and professional coaches to take BG5 further into the business world. So today I have the pleasure of having a conversation with Marinka Essel. Marinka is an OC16, BG5 and cycles consultant based out of Finland. And I wanted to invite her to share her view and her experience in delivering an OC16 and BG5 analysis, some trainings, and personal consultations as well to a telecom company. So Marinka, welcome.
Hi, and thank you so much for having me. It's really lovely to have this conversation today with you.
Oh, so beautiful. It's my pleasure, Marinka. So could you please briefly introduce yourself and the kind of work you do with organizations as well?
Yes, so I'm Marinka, and I'm 2-4 emotional advisor, for those who care about that little detail there. And I mostly at the moment work with entrepreneurs, so not yet, quite yet with organizations. So my only touch that I've had with organization has been through my BG5 and OC16 certifications for the final assignments. And I was lucky enough to have one team that I worked for a whole year, and that's what we will be talking about today. And very exciting process. But what else I do at the moment is I also offer human design, so that's where most of my clientele is at the moment as well. But more and more, I'm able to bring PG5 to people and actually do individual coaching for aspiring entrepreneurs. That's mostly my niche that I do at the moment, but hoping that now that I have collected all these certifications, I will be slowly moving more towards working with corporations and organizations regarding OC16 and PG5, because that's really a passion for me to bring this knowledge there, because it is really needed and it can be so life-changing. So step by step, I'm an advisor after all, so I might be still waiting for some invitations here and there.
Beautiful. Well, I'm so glad I invited you into doing this conversation to share with the community your experience and your passion, Marinka. So, Marinka, will you tell us how did you engage with this client?
Yeah, so the client, so this actually went quite nicely according to my decision-making strategy, because when first in PG5 class, when I originally started working with this client, we were given the task to find somebody, a company of, or a team of about maximum 5 people to work with, and a team lead who would be open to that. I posted on my Instagram, like, hey, there's this type of a project, I'm looking for it. And then somebody who actually I know she was an initiator. She didn't tell me directly, and I only found out this later, but she saw what I had posted and had recommended this to her friend, who already knew at least about human design on some level, and that's why there was this sort of an intrigue towards PG5 already. So it wasn't completely foreign to them as a system. So this friend told the team lead, like, hey, maybe you should send her a message. And so then she sent me a direct message. She doesn't follow me, so I was at first a bit confused, like, oh, I wonder how she heard about this, because she doesn't even follow me. But then from there on, we talked a little bit in the direct messaging of Instagram, and then moved eventually to email. And I sent her this 1-page PDF, like, what can PG5 do for you and how can it help your team, just to kind of introduce her to the system. And then we met for about a 20-minute conversation at first, just to kind of me walking her through what PG5 can do and what it is essentially. And because she had a slight knowledge of human design, and she had found out her type and was somewhat intrigued, had never received a reading or anything. So in a way, it was maybe a bit easier to bring this knowledge to her, and because she was already a bit familiar with it.
Beautiful. So, and then what helped them say yes to exploring this work with you? What was the reason, do you think?
At first, the team lead, she at first thought like, oh, maybe this would be good that we work with this information when it comes to their leadership team. But then the leadership team actually said like, no, it doesn't seem relevant for them at the moment. So then she thought, okay, well, I guess if there's no objections, I can take this to the team that I'm managing. The team actually consists of total of 12 or maybe now 13 people, but but then you could choose the key 5 people who were working with customer service specifically to join just the PG5 part of it. And then later we would expand to the OC16 with the whole team. But we started with this core group that had been working for a specific task, like all the people who are part of like tech or marketing, they were left out for now, and we just focused on the people who are part of the customer service team. And that's how we started. And I guess because when we were talking and we had a couple of conversations, once she got the initial yes from her company, like, hey, this is fine, but also like, I'm doing this for free at this point because it's a school assignment. So it was maybe a no-brainer to go into this because it's free anyway. Like, what is the risk? I then had a longer conversation with her. We talked for about an hour about everything that's going on in in her team and the company, and what are the things happening and might need improvement. And then because I think that because I was confident enough to be able to tell her when she told me her issues that yes, these are definitely things that we can look at from the PG5 lens or through the PG5 lens, and there might be something that I can offer for you. I think just because we clicked on a person, like
Mm-hmm.
we had chemistry and she was intrigued. So that was helpful for her to say yes. And of course, I did ask her because I know she's a builder, yes and no questions, like few of them in this. And what I also do with all of my clients when we have initial consultations, I always already offer them like, hey, this is your strategy and authority or your decision-making strategy. You can already play with this idea from this consultation if you actually want to engage into this offer with me. So that's how we kind of started.
Beautiful. And what were I'm just curious, what were the challenges the team was facing that she shared with you that you answered we could address the solution?
At the time, they were looking to hire more people, and the issues specifically were related to the struggle. How do they get a voice for um, the processes that they're making, and communication issues, and I would say when you look at the Penta, you would say it's the PR compartment that is dealing
Mm-hmm.
with this. So how do we actually um, deliver certain bits of information to the clients and formulate those core messages? How can we get them out there? That was one of the main issues when it comes to communication. And then also they had issue with like how can the team actually feel like a team? How can we rely on each other and feel that we're working towards something together? Because apparently this like glue that keeps everyone together was sort of missing. And this can be extremely hard, and this is something we haven't mentioned yet, is that this team is fully remote. So that makes it even harder. So, but those were the 2 key issues that she presented back then.
Yeah, and I'm just noticing we didn't frame like what type of an organization this was, what did they do, how many people in total, and their general setting. Maybe it would be relevant for the audience to know.
Yeah. I think you mentioned they were a telecommunications company, which I don't know if they actually are. So the product that they have, or this team has, so this is originally, now this team that I was working with used to be their own startup that was then
Mm-hmm.
combined
Acquired.
or acquired by this
Mm-hmm.
bigger company, and who mostly focuses on software on different areas. And the
Uh-huh.
software that this company that I work with focuses on was this healthcare applications. And the product that they were specifically working with is it's an application that they give for their healthcare clients in hospitals or in private healthcare. So if somebody goes to like a traveling nurse goes to, for example, visit somebody at their home, like an older person, elderly person, and then they can use their app to like report everything and mark all the medications and all of this stuff. And there's probably a lot more to this app as well, but that's sort of one of the key functions. And this is something they can use in hospitals or in private healthcare or in like individual visits. So that is the core focus, and that was the customer service group that I was first initially working with. Their focus was also to keep maintain the app and have this communication with all these external people using their app.
Mm-hmm. All right, so beautiful. So it's a complex environment with lots of things going on, the merger, the software, picking things up with clients and all that. So yeah, very interesting. And I really want to explore with you, Marinka. So as BG5 consultants doing projects or later, we do spend a lot of time preparing things, just looking at the charts and making sense of it. What was it for you to be presenting BG5 and then later OC16 to a team who had never heard of it before? Because you did connect with the lead, but the people obviously they met you when you started perhaps introducing things to them on a one-on-one level or perhaps in the workshop that you did. So how did it feel for you to present this?
Mm, I love that question because of course it's very it's exciting, but it can also make you very nervous at the same time. Like, how is this gonna land for these people? And PG5 does a good job in the way that it has chosen really good words to deliver this information so that it makes sense for people quite quickly. And at first, when you work with the team lead, and you give them their own initial session, and then you I would honestly say the most important thing is to spend as much time with the team lead as you can, talk with them as much as you can, because at least in my case as an advisor, they were the one inviting me, and then if I just work on that relationship, really build rapport, um, they will be your biggest cheerleader when you actually go into meeting the team. Because, like in this scenario, I didn't have the chance to meet every team member individually, which also would have been really lovely, of course, to like give individual readings to everyone and look at their charts individually. But here when I first met with the team, it was we were going to have a 4-hour workshop together. So um, once I started presenting the information, and I was very careful to remove all the too complex words from the material. For example, I didn't go into educating them what is a penta or things like this. I simply wanted to bring them down to earth and make it interesting for everyone. And as the workshop progressed, I could tell that the team lead was cheering for me throughout all of this, and she was making good pointers and like, hey, what do we if we look at this and so on. So I knew that I had somebody supporting me throughout all of this, even though of course, people were open to this, but of course they would be a little bit skeptical. So, so that is, I think, very important that you hone in that relationship with the team lead. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, how did it really become more relevant to their day-to-day work? You said like the leader was linking it to like how they could really make it useful in their day-to-day work. And did people resonate with what you were saying as well?
People did resonate, and also those who were the most skeptical about PG5 even asked, like, why is this so accurate? Why is this so accurate? Like, also almost with a tone like, I don't almost believe in this yet, but like, this is so accurate, I almost have to. And so it did resonate with this team. And I would say that a big part of the reason is also that this went like correctly according to my decision making strategy. I think that plays a part here too. But also, you as a PG5 consultant, you need to really understand as much as you can about the team beforehand, and then build the material so that it becomes interesting, because also there's multitude of ways of delivering this information, so you can't actually just take the one and only structure there is that you could think of. You have to think of like, how do I make this interesting? For example, in my case, we have a remote 4-hour workshop. That's a lot of time, but also you want to make it engaging. You want to make it something that resonates with people. And in this case, I'm basically giving 5 individual readings all at once to these team members. And that can get boring for the others while you're focusing on somebody else. So you kind of have to move through that somewhat quickly, but of course that's important for everyone to receive that attention. But then you want to start looking at things together, like, hey, if we're comparing these functions, like you have this undefined, you don't, and so on. And what are these like, what are the thematics we can draw from this? For example, like I didn't talk about every function with the team. For example, we would talk about the stamina or the emotional intelligence, because those were things that could be affecting the team on day-to-day basis, or regarding to their issues that they presented. And then there's this like sort of a dance. You have to be able to like pivot while you're giving this presentation to really like kind of, even if you're remote, just sort of a feel out like what are the people feeling or going through in that moment. And once we got to the part where we're going over the core business attributes and I mean the Penta stuff, I talked about the core business skills to them without mentioning the Penta to them. And there, because they also were aware of these issues that the team lead had already presented to me, when I was able to show them on these crafts, like, hey, here are the parts where we can actually look at them, and here are my suggestions based on this. But also some of the suggestions in that moment when you're just doing this workshop, you're basically just introducing this information to them. You're bringing them awareness, what could be like this or so. And you're giving them the first nugget of information of like, oh, maybe I'm an initiator. Maybe I could be working a little bit differently. Maybe I'm not taking enough agency in my work as I could be doing. So if you just have a workshop like this, it's mainly to give awareness, and then the rest of the work is going to happen if you continue working with the team lead. Then maybe you have further sessions with the team, but it really is, when it comes to the team, you're bringing them awareness, but the changes are going to happen when you work with the team lead and if they actually execute them.
Exactly. So, and as a result of like the hours you spent with the team, what were the reactions? What kind of feedback did you receive?
They were very happy and excited. They were still baffled, like, how can this information be accurate? Not everybody, like there were also people who were just neutral and like, oh, very interesting way to look at myself. And yeah, I've done personality quizzes before. And like, they were, I know the team lead was very happy and excited, and very excited to also then move towards working with OC16 information. Um, but when it comes to the team itself, maybe the most feedback that I got was that they were just excited to like know something new about themselves and be able to like find like different ways of working through this, and that was exciting. But I think it would have required maybe a few more sessions also with the team itself or the team members individually to get even more out of it for them. But I guess the best feedback that I could get is that after the PG5 sessions and the certification was completed, the team lead did then invite me to be part of their team day a few months after, where I could then meet the entire team. This was also going to be remote. At first, we were talking like if I go in person, but we then eventually decided it's going to be remotely. But the idea was like, hey, let's apply this information for the entire team, the 12 people, not just these 5 that you first meet. And then because I was also then entering into the OC16 semester 2, I think. So then I said like, okay, great. Like if I could also maybe use this workshop that you want to host partially also with my final assignments at school. So with the institute, so that worked out really nicely, and then we start working from there. But then that workshop that I hosted was more of something I did solo, and I didn't deliver it ever to the institute because it was something they ordered from me. But it was definitely something I used as a preliminary material when I started working towards the OC16 final certification process.
Beautiful. So moving from like more BG5 focused or smaller team focused analysis to an OC16 view and way of working with this organization. Did you find any additional challenges that were surfacing when you started looking at it from an OC16 perspective?
What was interesting was that when you enter OC16, you have a much bigger toolbox all of a sudden to work with. You especially instantly, I noticed that because this team is remote, it feels a bit when you just stay within the Penta information. And as soon as you're able to exit the Penta and go to the rest of the chart, looking at the communication lines that the OC16 provides and all of that material, and you're now focusing more on the strengths and traits of everybody, now this started to feel like, okay, this is something that would benefit a remote team perhaps a lot better. So what I started focusing on in this workshop that they ordered from me, we went into looking at all of their strengths. That's what we really focused on. And when I was delivering this information for the entire team together. But with the team lead, that's where we then looked at the communication lines, and that's also where when I was asking her about about any tension or issues with any specific people, it was interesting to note that, for example, the team lead has very strong management OC16. So the issues she was having were with people who she was compromising or who were compromising her in the management area. And because and even if they're remote, this is something, the compromise is something you could feel even if you're not in person together. And it's just that the variety, so that suddenly there's just so many more components that you can look at and see, like, oh, why is this relation, like you can actually go more deeper into like what are the relationships between different people, look at all of that. That goes kind of hand in hand when you start looking at the communication lines as well. And it just becomes more vast, and you are able to like give so much more to the team when you enter OC16.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, beautiful. And so, did you discover any insights while you were taking the OC16 lens into things? You already did mention some of the things, but any other insights for the team that came out specifically out of OC16 work?
Well, what was interesting, and also in the workshop that I hosted for the team, it was interesting to notice that a majority of the team had their strengths in the integration or individualistic areas in empowerment. So, and also, I'm not surprised that these people are in working for this remote team, because when their preferred environmental style was mostly solo, some had OC16, but very few had the small teams as their ideal environment. So this group had already gravitated towards a job where they can mostly work solo. And then finding this out, that there's a lot of people who have mostly integration strengths, then highlighting that there's a lot of people who just want to work without much of somebody supervising what they're doing. Like that was one of the insights. And then with the people who did have more dominance in the OC16, when it comes to the, what is the name again for the, when you have one of the six strengths, the main strengths, the 21,
Well, we
45.
call them OC16 channel,
Oh, the OC16.
OC16 channels or
Right.
strengths. Can refer to them that like that, I guess.
Yeah, the main ones, the ones when you were like are in the position
Yeah,
of
the
leadership.
OC16 channels, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
We call them in the OC16, maybe you might be looking for when we do the classes, we call them OC16 like management channels as well, or management
Yes.
strengths.
Yes, I was looking for that word. Thank you. Yeah, so
Yeah,
the
yeah.
management channels. So then that was what was super interesting, is to see, okay, because this team already, we know that they are quite eager to work according to their own rules. Now we can see from the OC16 lens that where are they actually really excelling at? Who should you promote to be taking more agency when it comes to, let's say, interaction or logical enforcement and all these OC16 management channels? That was very interesting to see, to start positioning people like, hey, you can give them more agency here, or a responsibility, because they would be actually good at this, when we already know that a lot of these people are quite strong individuals working remotely. So teaching or showing to the team lead, like, hey, these are the areas you can probably trust your people. Of course, through trial and error, you'll find that out, but this is an indication you can already take. So that was very fun. And then, of course, finding what are the distractions for people, in what areas are they distracted, and where could are they actually now, like, have they moved towards like product management within the team, but that's actually a distraction for them, like, because let's say that requires they would be distracted in the areas of innovation or direction, so that could be related. Or is it actually a good thing that they move towards that according to their OC16 chart? So these are the type of things you can look at, and that was really, really fun to start seeing more depth into each individual when you exit the Penta structure.
Yeah, well, thank you, Marinka. And maybe for the audience, not everybody might have taken OC16 in detail. So the way we would address this work that Marinka is talking about as she applied with this client is we would take the individual charts and look at their activations from an OC16 power-based perspective. So if somebody has the OC16 channel defined, the management channel for the 6 power bases, then they can be called into executive positions within that role, let's say within innovation or direction or management. And then they might just have one of the activations that also will mean that they will be pulled into that, looking for an ally. It might become a distraction for that person, or if they have activations within the power base. So not the channel or any of the traits within the main channel, let's say in the 45-21, for example, is one. A person could have either the 45 or 21, so that's an activation, or they have something in the power base. So all of these have their power bases. And sometimes if you have too much activations in a certain thing, and it might be out of your scope, the role that you're given within the organization, the energetics of the organization always pulls you in these directions. And sometimes it can become a distraction for the people because the being of the organization sees this potential in them. So they just keep being pulled into all these other things that they can do. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but being aware of it makes good use of this energy. Because sometimes it could be to the advantage of the person, or it could really distract them. So looking at these when you do an analysis, just like Marinka did with this client, can become very important for the lead or for the people themselves. So Marinka, you were mentioning this team being remote. So that really stands out for me because when we study the Penta theory and what we study in BG5 plus the OC16, when Ross spoke to these, he said these transauric forms, they work in aura only. So when people are together, that they would be felt. Although from experience, we know something happens when a person is part of a team, whether they ever go there or they don't ever go there. Just that commitment to an organization, working for a team brings something, but maybe in the way Ra voiced it, it's not that we can apply everything we learned in theory to a remote person that is part of an organization as well. So you ended up blending the BG5 Penta knowledge, the OC16 knowledge, and apply it to people who really work remote all the time. So how did you tailor your approach when you first started? Yeah. And then how did this experimentation go for you?
At first, I was like, when I found out that they are fully remote and there's maybe 2 people who go to this main office that they have somewhere middle of Finland because they're all like living in different cities. So just because of the distance, they really don't go to the office. It's not just by the fact that, oh, I'd rather work from home. It's just like the office is literally too far from me. And I was like, oh, well, I guess we'll see how all of this knowledge applies then, and this will be interesting experiment for me as well. And quite quickly, I could notice that, for example, in the first workshop that I hosted for them, just about PG5, and for the first 5 people that I met, the Penta structure and how we could, how, and people would, so first of all, people would notice that, yes, these are the skills that I have, the traits that are in the Penta, they would resonate with them. Then when a couple months later, I was invited to host a workshop for them, and I knew that I was joining through Zoom, but they were in person because that was sort of like a once a year, everybody gets together. We are in a in the space together for a few nights and so on. So I suggested for them that since you are together now, here are some, I called them task force teams, and I had separated everybody into 3 pentas, as you do in OC16. For the sake of some of the information, like, hey, maybe you could play around with these, and then even if you take this, then when you go back to the office or is working from home again, you could see like, hey, what if we meet through like within these task force, these pentas, what if we meet online or get together, and how would that feel? Does the penta still hold? And I never received any feedback if they actually proceeded with this, but I could tell as this work progressed with the team that since there is no natural pull of that penta, it's really hard to artificially hold it together. So that's why if you're working with a remote team, the PG5 information alone and how you engineer teams according to PG5 might not be the best way. If you're only using that information, it might not actually provide the resolutions that they're looking for, or the solutions they're looking for. So I found that looking at, kind of keeping at the back of your mind the individual's chart in its whole totality, or the summary of it, was very important. Like, what is their profile or life profile or general like orientation? Are they more empowering or supportive, or what are the key strengths that they carry? I think that was very important to keep in mind. What is their type and what is their profile when you deliver this information? And I felt when I did that, it landed a bit better. And but then when we moved to the OC16 territory, when we are mostly working with strengths and going into the traits, then still, I would advise to sort of keep the idea like, okay, this person is this type and so on, and like what else is there in the chart is more important when you work with a team that's fully remote. But yes, when you are with a team that meets regularly in person, then definitely the Penta and the WA aspects of all of this matter so much more. And it's such a transforming and like not energy, well, I guess transforming energy, but such a pull that the team and everybody experiences in that space. And it does really change you a little bit as you adjust to who is in the room with you. But remotely, you can actually be more yourself. And that's why I feel like these people who were working for this team, it felt like when I'm talking to the team that they were actually able to really choose the things that they were interested in. They were not so distracted in things that were pulling them this and this way, but they were following what was interesting to them. And then, of course, if I was able to coach them for following strategy and authority there, then that would already be so much and deliver so much, I think, happiness for each team member. So those were the things that I really noticed working with this team, at least.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Marinka. Sometimes it's hard to see. We have so many things in our toolkit, especially if you certify into the advanced certifications as well. So then which one is the best to pick out, to make use? But obviously, when we're starting with any clients, the basics are so strong and so powerful, actually. Starting there really shifts their understanding of themselves, their understanding of the team, and then we can slowly start building the other components. Sometimes because we know so much, we want to go and give it all to the clients. But their time is limited, our time is limited. I think these things really take time, just like we go through our own experimentation for a long period of time. It takes years and years for an individual to understand themselves. So same with organizations probably, but going and introducing it to them initially, I think really starts something in that organization at the same time.
For sure. And I'm not saying that, oh, if your team is remote, you cannot apply this information and use PG5. You absolutely can, but you have to get a little bit more creative with it, because that's not how Ra originally offered the information. That he assumed that we will be in the same space with people when we are working with this information. So yes, you can use this information, but you have to get creative with it. And then, like you said earlier, how we can still, even if we are meeting remotely, we can still feel some things. And that is definitely, we can sense and notice the essence and the temperament of the person we are talking to. And let's say if I'm compromising you on, if we make a composite chart between you and me, if I'm compromising you or you're compromising me somewhere, those are the things that we will feel and notice for sure, even if we are remote. That's just like coming from like meeting hundreds and hundreds of people who I've coached and known that I for example, I compromise everyone's like I mean, I'm often compromising people in the conceptualization and inspiration area functions. So I just know that I can seem too overpowering to people when I'm talking to them. And I, of course, often talk to people about that. Like, hey, I might seem overpowering here. And yeah, the compromise is definitely something you can sense, even remotely, I think, because then we are just like, we are speaking from our own heart and like being our own individual selves when we're meeting remotely.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in the individual sense, we have more room for experimentation and understanding and interpreting that experimentation for ourselves. Now with the teams, although Ra said it works in Aura only, from our experiment, if we had a lot of experiments with teams and we could gather the feedback, maybe we would find some of it also applies there. But of course, it requires more and more time for this to be applied, and it's still early in the world. Yes, we're early adapters of this information, and so are clients who come and work with us in this area as well. Wow, so lovely to hear all this experience that you have with a real life client. So Marinka, another thing I'm curious about is how different is it when you actually like preparing the analysis through the BG5 lens, the individual, or with the OC16 is something, and it's something we know well as consultants, I think. But when you actually move to applying this with the real client, with the real organization, how did it feel for you to take the theory and what you see and what you think will actually show, and then what happened in real life?
How did it feel for me? Well, first of all, I was very excited about that specific point in taking this into practice and how am I structuring this information for people so that it's understandable. That could be my own strength of structuring right there speaking as well. But so it is a passion for me. But immediately I knew that I cannot share this information the way that I've learned it. I have to change some of the words. I have to just simply eliminate stuff like, let's say, the word penta. Like I don't need to go into penta theory when I'm with this client because we're meeting for such a short amount of time and I'm not there to educate them. And I found it very important to trying to go into the be in the shoes of the client. So what kind of material might they have come across when it comes to, let's say, personality assessments or strengths and values type of assessments? So I was trying to use language that is already familiar to them to make this more approachable for them from the get-go, because I'm anyway bringing something that's very new and oh my God, we use your birth date to determine this information. So I tried my best to make it familiar to them in the ways that I could. So that's very important. So what you learn, and it's very important. I try to do this constantly. And I'm still blinded by this often. Is because when you're so deep in studying this information yourself, trying to step out and like understanding, like, hey, if I were to explain this to a stranger now, would they look at you like, hey, what's wrong with you? Like, oh, wait, that's really interesting. So kind of having this reality check with you sometimes, or maybe even trying to like, if you haven't done these type of presentations for teams before, maybe asking a friend of yours who also has limited knowledge of this BG5 information to begin with, maybe have them listen to you and see like, does any of this make sense? Can I present this to a corporation? So bringing it down to earth for people is very, very important. And honestly, just have fun with it. Like it is really, really fun to work with this information and make it yours. That's definitely allowed. And what Raw has given us was literally just a stepping stone. And we can really work with this information in so many ways. And that's the fun part of it.
Yeah. So what really stands out for me is when Ra was teaching OC16 actually, and he knew he said, I'm just going to teach this once. And he said, other beings are going to come and they're going to filter it through their own consciousness. And I'm excited to see what comes out of this. So he knew it was like giving us, and anyone who is interested in this, to give starting points as to something we can further develop by filtering it through our own being, as we happen to be at this point in time. So it's really incredible that so much can be created out of this by the person who comes in and applies it. Do you have any learning? So what did it teach you? Like this actually applying the information. You did share some of it already, but if there's anything else you wanted to share, I just wanted to ask.
Any learnings? Don't care about the skeptics. Don't make the presentation for the skeptic. Make it for the most enthusiastic person in the room, because you are those people who are willing to engage with you with this information will be rooting for the thing for you and for the rest of the team. And the skeptics, they will just maybe they'll meet you halfway, maybe they will disregard this information completely, but don't make the presentations just to prove your that you have this knowledge or this is life-changing. Those who are there to listen, if you enter the room and you feel like, yeah, this is right, and most of the people are actually quite engaged and interested, talk to those people when you're presenting, and sure, meet the skeptics as well, but don't let them ruin it for you or be the focus point, because they don't have to, because they are not ready for it. They are just dragged into this in this time and space if they were to this workshop, and they're just there because they have to. But talk to the people who want to actually engage with this information and make it fun for them and for yourself.
Such a powerful learning, and thank you for sharing. Sometimes maybe we forget because a lot of people question a lot of things about the system, and when you and we may try to go in the way of trying to prove it somehow, and maybe it's not needed at all. Just go with your own flow. And there's a reason that team is engaged with you in that moment. Even that skeptic perhaps is taking away something.
Yes, definitely.
From the engagement. Yeah, Marinka, so in terms of the just wrapping this up, the client impact. So you took all your tools, your other things that you know as a person, as a consultant. What do you think the impact was for the clients? What did they begin to understand, either about themselves or their team? This can be relevant to the team feedback. It can be with the leader that you worked with.
Well, the funny thing that happened is that as soon as I had delivered the very first BG5 workshop, the team lead instantly, they also are a 1-3, so they want to test things out, but they went into like trying to apply this into their hiring process, to the point that I actually had to contact the institute, like, hey, they're wanting to use this in their hiring process now, like how can we provide them like an easy way to check the chart, and what would be the best way to communicate for the potential people who are applying for this company that, hey, if you want to generate your chart, this is the way to do it, and so on. So that was very fun to see that they instantly wanted to apply this information, because they were looking for the specific traits that they were missing from the Penta. But then I was also like, but like this is more nuanced than that. So I had to coach them in that sense as well. But they tried, and so definitely I think, at least for the team lead, the ability for the understand more about themselves as a lead, and then more about their team, was very is what influenced the potential changes within the team the most, because also, of course, the team lead is the one making the decisions as well. How can we restructure, or how can we add you to these task forces, or move you around, or so on. So I think at least I got to spend so much time with the team lead that she was able to definitely get the most out of it, understanding the structure of her teams, or restructuring it, or understanding more about herself as a team lead. So unfortunately, I don't know if there is more that the actual team members took out of it other than awareness. So, because I haven't been able to interact with them, but I did hear in the end how generally this feeling of like feeling more united, within the team is a common feeling that the team lead at least told me that the team seems to feel, even though they're remote, and that was an issue before. So I do feel successful in that sense, that at least something like that
Beautiful.
was able to spur.
Beautiful, beautiful. So all in all, Marinka, in terms of the client engagement, yes, which we don't experiment as much as working on the information. So what was specifically your biggest learning that you had with the clients in the process?
When it comes to interacting with the client,
Well, yes. Yeah, so the whole thing that you did. So what as a consultant, what are the things that you take away as learnings for yourself? You did share a lot within the conversation, but what stands out for you?
I guess especially when you are delivering this information to the corporation, and once they wanted to order the workshop from me, and then making the first offer for them and what they're actually looking for. Corporations can be really strict what they will actually take or not take, because they have certain budgets, or they don't prioritize certain things that we might prioritize, like, I don't know, well-being, for example, like in some level, like if it's not efficient, like they might not be seeing the value in that if you present it wrong. So I think it's a little bit of a humbling experience as well. So don't take things personally once you start like making an offer for a corporation. And what is important really is to talk as much as you can with the team lead or whoever is deciding these things, and finding your best personal way of maybe selling it to them, but also being, if you can, you probably also have to adjust as you go, as you learn more. So don't assume, don't assume and be willing to adjust is maybe my biggest takeaway when talking to them, especially because it almost feels like we are from different worlds sometimes when you come in with this amazing information and you know so much and you know how it has helped people. And especially if you're like me, who has worked mostly with individuals or entrepreneurs and then moving into corporate world, it's going to be very, very different. So there's going to be failures, and there's going to be moments that it doesn't feel easy. So just finding out what works for you, what works for the client, it's never personal. So I would just keep that in mind.
Marinka, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have this conversation with you. I'm so happy you said yes to my invitation to share your experience with the community. So thank you so much. It's just been great. Everyone, thank you so much for listening to Marinka and I on this conversation. And I hope to host more students as they go through this experience. Thank you, Marinka, and thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.